What's up guys, we are going to be jumping right into part 2 of the Defender Titan guide. So if you guys missed part 1, make sure to check that out, we'll link it below. So in this video we're going to be talking about the super, the grenade, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Trials of Osiris where we bring everything together. Now the unique thing about the bubble, if you look at the time, it's 4:45, we've already dropped our bubble a little while ago and we're going to have it practically ready by 4:15, so in about 30 seconds. If you manage to kill a lot of people while you have your bubble down, you're going to be able to get it again quite fast. That's a unique feature of the Titan. You build up the meter as you have your super going. Now the thing about the bubble that most people will point out that makes it weak is that it's stationary. Where you put it down is going to be a big deal. If you put it down in those power positions, you're obviously going to get a lot more out of it. But the thing that you have to take out of this is since it's stationary, it doesn't mean that you are. It's going to be a risk-reward factor, but since the bubble does last 30 seconds, you can take advantage of all that time to either use it offensively in the sense that you're going to run out there and try to bait them back to it, or if you really mess up, you can just fall back to it at any time. So you're going to see the same example here. We're going to be building up our meter quite fast because I think it's important to note that if you play your cards right, you can have your bubble up really often. It's one of those supers that charges faster than any of the offensive ones. It's like the Night Stalker bow. So you saw that I already had my my overshield up because I did kill the previous guy with a shotgun. When you add a force barrier on top of Armor of Light, you're practically unkillable. That's a great thing because you want those people to come at you because then you get to build up your meter. Now you have to know that I am using tier 5 intellect, and that's what I suggest you guys run on this build. If we're going to do any kind of changes, it's going to be between the strength and the discipline. So we're going to practically be moving on to the supers now because I think you have to know what trumps your bubble. That means so you can be ready for the counters as well as take advantage of the people who don't know and run into you needlessly, and then you just keep building up your super meter. If you know a super can't beat you, you just hold your ground. If you know that it's a possibility, at least you're ready to make the counter play. So let's go over the two most reliable ways to take out bubbles. The first one is the Nova Bomb, and they have to get inside of your bubble if they want to reliably kill you. If they happen to hit it outside, usually you'll take some splash damage, but you will be able to run away. The mistake that a lot of people make when somebody shoots it outside of the bubble is that they run out prematurely and end up taking the full splash damage because they're already out of the bubble. Now the other one is actually the Striker Titan. I know I said that it gets trumped, but if you've taken some damage, there's a good chance the smash can finish you, or they can skate on top of you, do a little shotgun, and then do the smash, and there's a possibility that they can kill you that way. Honorable mentions goes to the Blade Dancer, but not really. Slashing against somebody that is of equal skill will typically get you killed, even if you're trying to like slash above them. Typically it's pretty easy to shotgun someone. The Razor's Edge actually just tickles when you're using Armor of Light, so that's why I don't recommend it. All the other supers are practically going to fall to this if you have solid play. Storm, that's not even going to be an issue when you're using this build. The neat thing about the bubble is that once you've activated it, you can't lose it to any kind of suppression, which I guess makes sense since you've already laid it down. So the other strengths of the Titans is based on the game types. One of the things that I like to do with it is use it reactionary. If I run into any problem, if I find that I actually don't have any shotgun ammo, if I start losing a gunfight, you do have enough time with the time to kill in this game that you can react. And this is one of the things that I think is really funny about the bubble. People let down their guard every time that you put this thing down. You start seeing people start to dance, they start spinning around, waving and all that stuff. And you can take advantage of those times. Like, I cannot count how often this happens. It just makes everyone just lose their minds when you get a bubble. Now, one of the things I've learned about any kind of ability that makes you stationary is that you got to make yourself a little bit more enticing. That's why you do actually want to get cocky inside your bubble. That's why you do dance. That's why you see things like that jumping in and out. Sometimes it gets you killed, but the thing is you have to sugarcoat it. You have to make them really want it. And that's pretty much Bubble 101. Make them want it. And check out this next guy. You can just see his reaction when he sees the bubble here and he's like, oh no, this is a bad idea, but by then it's too late. Usually what you want to look for is high traffic or just important points. Obviously, if you're playing an objective, you're going to want to lay a bubble there. If you're playing capture the flag, you would put it there. In Destiny, shotgun is life, so we're going to put it here. Control, you can put it down on a flag. If you're playing Rift, you can use it to take control of the spark. It's a very versatile thing, especially when you are looking for area of control. So when you do put your bubble down, optimally, you want it in one of those really good power positions. But I find that the more practical thing to do with these grenades is to take away people's mobility and then you charge them. And the thing is, we have that synergy with the no backup plans that once we start our charge, we just want it to keep going. Now, this is your standard grenade. You'd figure it'd be easier to use. It's what people are used to. It's just a regular frag grenade. But in Destiny, due to the mobility, it is extremely hard to use. And the reason we use them is because they have great application. Knocking down a super is huge, or even stopping it from even happening. It is a game changer. But again, I'm going to say that they are hard to use. It doesn't matter how many times I show people clips like this. They just don't happen all the time. Good mobility in Destiny is what you're going to be seeing, especially these days going into year 3. Like, everybody is pretty good at this game. So landing these grenades is getting harder and harder. Now let's quickly talk about Fellwinter's Lie. When you're using this artifact, you get 2 melee charges and 2 grenades. We're mainly going to focus on the 2 grenades right now because that's the more important part. Now, having 2 of these grenades available in games of 6v6 when you don't mess them up like this are pretty valuable. In smaller team games, they're just as good, but if you've noticed in Destiny, the spam on grenades is pretty high and most people aren't actually aiming directly at them. The tracking on things, the AoE on others, like the Titan Spike, the tracking on the Hunter ones, you know, like there's a lot of easier grenades to use that make it so you don't have to be that direct. That's why I'm saying these things are hard to use. So Fellwinter's is kind of nice to use when you are in that 6v6, especially after you've used your super, since you typically get it first and then go to shut some down and then maybe take it off and then go back to just some standard play. In Trials of Osiris, I only change over like I did here is if I guaranteed that the round is going to end before the odds of me getting another super come up. In the next example I'm going to show you in Trials of Osiris, we end up with a sweaty game. In that instance, I'm not going to put on Fellwinter's because there is a good chance that I'm actually going to have the time to get my super back up again. Sweaty matches just take longer because you guys get into that 4 to 4 scenario, so a lot of time has elapsed. Usually people end up getting their super twice, sometimes 3 times. So judge that out depending on how the game is going. If it's short, you change. If it's not, you stay. So let me show you this intense match I had in Trials of Osiris. I was using the Defender Titan, and this guy already used 2 shots, so I knew he didn't have enough to actually take out my bubble. So I'm waiting for him to waste it, and from here, he ends up getting picked off. This other guy does that mistake I was talking about. People let down their defense when they see a bubble. They start acting all stupid. I'm going to take advantage of that, and then we're going to get back up on here. Now, when it comes to Trials of Osiris, I will mix up my build where I don't give myself tier 5 strength. I actually end up taking an extra tier on grenades, sometimes 2, because I find grenades are more commonly used than the melee is because you're being more cautious. You're usually playing at a distance. You're looking for good picks. You're not looking to run in there like an idiot and just try to get that overshield. If it works out for you, that's great. If it doesn't, you know, like, you're a huge liability playing like that, so it's a lot safer to actually give yourself a little bit more discipline instead of strength, because usually you'll have about 30 seconds, at least 45 seconds between interactions where you're actually going to use your melee. Now here is the end of this game. Super sweaty again. No one crossed even close to half. No one was going to set off any kind of alarms, and at the end of the game everybody was ready for this big push, and it did end up happening. But the Defender Titan has a huge advantage here, and here I messed up. I missed a couple shots. This guy almost had me, but I do have the advantage, and we ended up playing off of it, and that's how we ended up going flawless this week. And that's the end of the video, guys. I hope I gave you some insight into using the Defender Titan. I know you guys have seen this build before. I just wanted to give you my take on it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, check out my channel, Game and Review. Again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.